So hey anime fans, the series name is What If Naruto Got Harem with Hazbin Hotel, so let's start the series. The entire hamlet of Konoha was preparing for the Kyubi festival on October 10th. Every year, the villagers commemorated the Yondaime Hokage's role in rescuing them from the Kyubi's invasion on the village 8 years prior. It was a night of celebration for the majority of Konoha residents. For one child, however, it was the worst thing ever. Naruto Uzumaki was a young boy with spiky hair and a blonde complexion. Everyone in the village, from ANBU to residents, would attempt to kill him on that day. It was also his birthday, which just made those things worse for him. For what reason did they do this? They believed that he was the incarnation of Kyubi, a gift from the Yondaime that would allow the villagers to complete the task and have a chance to exact revenge on their loved ones. Naruto was fortunate that this birthday would be unique since he intended to perform a ritual that would transport him to the underworld, where other demons resided. Why was this what Naruto had planned? He had had enough of everything. The village has treated him worse than dirt ever since he can remember, from the staff at the orphanage instructing the other children to avoid him to only feeding him poor food and crumbs to kicking him out when he was 4 years old. He then had to begin searching among trash for meals while being pelted with rocks by the villagers. On his birthdays, though, the worst thing happened. The villagers would all go out and hunt Naruto down in an effort to murder him, a practice known as the fox hunt. Naruto discovered who he truly was during the most recent hunt. The greatest disappointment, however, came when he discovered that the Sandaime Hokage, the old man, whom he had regarded as a grandfather, had betrayed him. Naruto discovered that the monthly rent was increased just a few days before his birthday, just as he was about to pay his landlord. Due to his inability to pay the new rent, Naruto was evicted from his flat by his landlord, who kept everything he owned. Naruto's landlord simply laughed at him and said that he was the one who approved the new rent because it included a tax increase when he threatened to go the Hokage about the matter. Despite Naruto's desire to accuse him of lying, his landlord threw him a copy of the document bearing the Sandaime's signature. When Naruto realized that the man he considered to be his grandfather had signed something demonstrating that he was just like everyone else, he couldn't help but feel devastated. He was now forced to live on the streets after being evicted from his flat. Before realizing that the Sandaime was most likely losing the respect of the locals and would need to make some sort of concession to them, he couldn't help but wonder why the Sandaime would do such a thing. Civilian Council, damn it. At that point, Naruto realized that no matter how hard he tried, the village would never respect him and that he had to go. Although he could outrun the ANBU for a while, he wouldn't be able to do it indefinitely, therefore running wouldn't help him. Digging among the trash the day after being evicted from his flat, Naruto discovered a book that had been thrown out. The strange thing about this book was that, despite its apparent age, it was in perfect condition. Naruto was taken aback by what he discovered when he opened the book. It was a book that could summon demons. He perused it to see what it had to offer and paused on a page that described how to call forth a demon that would grant the caller one wish. Naruto regarded this as his opportunity to be with his own people, who would welcome him, as well as to escape the village. But as the impoverished youngster read the requirements for carrying out the summoning, he realized that it would be challenging because the primary need was that it must take place at night during a full moon. Regretfully, his birthday fell on the next full moon. Naruto was aware that preparation would be difficult, but he was determined to escape this terrible hamlet because of Uzumaki's unwavering will. He carefully and thoroughly studied the summoning procedure as his birthday drew near, making sure he didn't miss anything until it was all ingrained in his memory. Naruto had intended to remain hidden until nightfall on his birthday. Unfortunately, a ninja with strange facial markings caught him. A member of the Inuzuka clan, he surmised. Then, for the first time ever, they took him to the academy for a short while because he was missing it. Naruto was aware that the village was making it difficult for him to conceal by making him go to the academy. He even tried his typical tricks to get himself kicked out, as the teachers usually do, but instead they locked him in the closet. As the academy day came to an end and Naruto was set free, he became aware that night was drawing near. The locals had blocked off all the good hiding spots for Naruto, so he hurried around the village to avoid being noticed while searching for a place to hide so he could carry out the ritual. The closet he found was an open training area, which he believes to be Training Ground 4, located a short distance from the settlement. It didn't appear to have been used recently. The child had no idea that he was near his parents' house, parents he neither knew nor knew existed. Naruto began the ceremony by drawing a kunai from the academy and cutting the summoning circle into the ground as soon as he noticed the full moon in the sky. He heard the locals raising the alarm that the fox hunt had started, so he carved it as fast as he could. He poured as much chakra as he could into the circle after it was carved, saying, "Forces of the underworld, hear my plea. Please grant me my heart's desire by granting me this wish." Naruto saw that the circle was glowing bright red after he finished speaking, and he started to take the last step. With the intention of cutting it open, he took his kunai and put it up to his other hand. However, before he could do so, he gasped in agony upon discovering a kunai stuck in his shoulder, causing blood to spill into the circle. A ninja yelled, "Found you, demon," and summoned the villagers to his spot while tackling Naruto to the ground while he was still in the circle. But as the people hurried to their spot, they were startled when a woman and a man with demonic features emerged dancing in front of them. These two individuals were none other than Queen Lilith Morningstar, Queen of the Succubi, the rulers of Hell, and King Lucifer Morningstar, the first fallen angel. The thing that soothed Lucifer the most out of all the things that happen in hell, read, the garbage he had to deal with every day, was his love for his wife and kid. At the end of the day, he would always find time to express his love for his wife through various actions. In the hopes that it would result in another amazing night in bed, the gesture tonight was dancing, something they hadn't done in a long time, to help him forget the frustration of dealing with the triple verses today. But as they were dancing in the clearing, neither of them appeared to be aware that they had been called straight out of hell. Until Lilith stepped in something, neither of them realized the horde of irate peasants as they danced. She stepped in some blood and stopped her husband, who realized it away that they were out of hell. She turned to see a tiny child with a kunai protruding from his shoulder, whimpering in agony, and bleeding on the ground. As she separated from her husband to care for the young kid, she exclaimed, "Oh my Satan," and quickly removed the kunai from him. While his wife cared for the boy, Lucifer started to look around. Since it was his first time being called, he didn't even feel the pull of being called like he did the previous times. To make Matt's summoning even more intriguing, it had also succeeded in bringing his wife along with him, which wasn't an easy task. He glanced at the summoning circle the youngster was lying on and saw the energy within, realizing instantly that this was a place he had never been called to before. He realized that he and his wife were in the elemental nations because the energy was chakra and there was a lot of it there, as well as the fact that the youngster was the one who summoned them. A bit crude, could have used a few candles but it worked, surprisingly, he mused. He made the decision to investigate, but the locals began yelling before he could speak. One of them cried out in fear, "The demon brat has called forth his fellow demons to murder us. Get them." The man who threw the kunai at Naruto screamed, "I'm going to kill them, starting with this demon bitch." As he unwrapped his tanto and bounded in the direction of Naruto and Lilith. Lilith, who was concentrating on keeping Naruto's health stable, looked at the man who had leaped before launching a vine of thorns that entered his body and pierced his right eye. As the man's cries of agony could be heard and more fear was distributed throughout the locals, the vine started to spread throughout his body, starting with his left eye, which popped out of his skull and entered his mouth. Lucifer finally killed the stupid man by burning him on fire, turning him into nothing more than a thorn bush. After the ninja were dead, Lilith saw that Naruto was healing more quickly than she and Lucifer were, which was comparable to their own healing rates when they dug into their own leftovers. She said, "Lucy, his wound is healing," to her husband. Because Lucifer could sense the youngster's other chakra force, he had a clear picture of what was happening and who the boy was. He glanced at the locals who had attempted to separate the husband and wife in order to get a better look at him. The people were staring at him, but he calmly remarked, "Get out of my way, or I will move you myself." One of them exclaimed smugly, "There are only 3 of you while there is an army of us. You don't stand a chance, demon." Lucifer laughed, but the smugness soon gave way to a full-fledged demonic laugh. His normal voice changed to a demonic one as he raised his right arm and waved it at the monkeys, sending them flying to the sides of the clearing without killing them yet. "Oh, how I missed this. I love it when you stupid monkeys refuse to see reason, let alone you think you know everything," he said. Knowing how avaricious the humans of this world were, Lucifer looked at the summoning circle and destroyed it with a blast of fire. Lucifer didn't want them to study and recreate it for their own purposes because most weaker demons wouldn't be able to fight off the crowd, so Lilith cradled Naruto in her arms like a newborn child. As he approached his wife and the baby kid, Lucifer remarked softly, his tone more naturally charming than demonic, "Now to find out what I was summoned for." Lucifer asked gently and courteously so as not to frighten Naruto, "I know you're the one who summoned me and my wife, but before you tell me what you want, can you first tell me how you summoned us?" Despite being in the Queen of Hell's embrace, Naruto seemed to be soothed by the man and woman's presence as he stared up at them. Lucifer looked at Naruto, who said, "So you're the ones to grant my wish." Lucifer then turned at Lilith, who appeared equally perplexed. Lilith ran a kind hand over his golden hair and said, "My dear boy, what is your wish?" As the woman's silky hand brushed through his hair, Naruto let out a quiet moan. Both rulers gave him a startled look as Lilith almost dropped Naruto. "I want you to take me to the underworld where I can live with my fellow demons." Not at Naruto, but at what these people had done to this poor youngster, Lucifer clenched his fists in rage. Before he asked the boy, he inhaled deeply. The throng shrank in horror as Lucifer scowled at them, angry that the boy believed he was a demon. "You want to go to hell? Why would you want that? Better yet, can you tell me why you think you are a demon and how you summoned us?" Lucifer asked. Though he wanted the youngster to verify it for himself, he had a good sense of why Naruto believed he was a demon. Naruto nodded to the King of Hell and started to tell him about his life, omitting no details and sharing all he could recall. The way he was handled offended both Lucifer and Lilith, but Lucifer was taken aback by Naruto's discovery of a grimoire that explained how to call them forth. "Do you happen to have this book on you, young Naruto?" Lilith dropped Naruto to the ground when he nodded. After removing the book from his orange jumpsuit, Naruto gave it to Lucifer. Lucifer was taken aback by the remarkably accurate facts in the book as he read it. The fact that Naruto had discovered this grimoire in the trash worried the author, even though he knew exactly what to include. Anyone could have used it to enslave demons or, worse, to open a portal to hell and release the masses onto the world, masses that were his to govern and exploit however he saw fit, had Naruto not discovered it. Lucifer turned to face the little kid who had called them. He said, "What is your name, dear child?" Naruto gave him a look. With a head twist that strained Lilith's demonic heartstrings, Naruto said, "Naruto Uzumaki. Are you going to take me to the underworld now?" With due consideration, Lucifer replied, "Not exactly, my dear boy." In front of them, the Sandaime Hokage came with his finest shinobi. "I figured I would help you get some answers about who you really are before I grant your wish. I have a feeling you may want to wish for something different once you know everything. It's very kind of you to come along, Hiruzen Sarutobi," Lucifer said patronizingly. "Who are you? Why did you attack my people?" shouted Hiruzen, who knew he was at a disadvantage here and assumed his name was well known throughout the elemental nations. It could mean the difference between life and death if your adversary knows you and you don't. "Well, I attacked them because they tried to attack me and my darling wife first. As for who we are, well, I happen to be Lucifer and that is my wife Lilith." Lucifer began to laugh a little as he looked at the elderly man, and then he began to laugh more, as though someone had given him a joke. He then yelled in his demonic voice, "I suppose the people here would know me by another name, just like Japan would. You know me as Yami, ruler of the underworld." All of the villagers erupted in a panic, fearing that the demon brat had called upon Yami to annihilate them. When Lucifer grew tired of their yelling and demands, he yelled for them to stop talking, and they immediately did. Lucifer looked at the Sandaime with a gloomy smile, and he could smell the fear emanating from him. "As for the reason as to why we're here, it's simple really. We're here to grant young Naruto here his wish." Fearing that the Jinchuriki of Konoha would pray for their destruction, Hiruzen said, almost demandingly, "And what is his request?" As the villagers started yelling at him to take the demon brat to hell, where he belongs, Lucifer responded, "Apparently, young Naruto here think he's a demon and wants to be taken to hell to be with his own kind." Lucifer, now irritated by the villagers' demands and screams, casually snapped his fingers, and a resonating explosion could be heard from one of the nearby forests. "I have decided that each time that your villagers decide to make an outburst or another demand like that I will destroy something nearby, so I suggest you keep them in line," Lucifer said mockingly as Hiruzen ordered them to remain silent. As Lucifer laughed, Hiruzen remarked, "But Naruto isn't a demon, so you can't take him." "Oh, you and I both understand how a child's mind functions. They begin to think that's what they are if you name them that for a long enough period of time. Young Naruto here sees it that way, even though we do not. Since he is consistently treated like a monster, it appears that your people believe he is the Kyuubi reincarnated as a human. Except for you and the Ichiraku family, he has never been treated like a human. Naruto is aware that you don't care about him, and even I can see right through you." Lucifer sarcastically explained that you're concerned about Konoha losing its precious weapon. Hiruzen yelled, "That isn't true. I do care about Naruto." In an attempt to persuade Naruto that everything was a complete fabrication since Konoha couldn't afford to lose their Jinchuriki, Lying to Naruto would help their community stay strong, which was something Konoha needed to do no matter what. In the meantime, Lucifer began to laugh. See? Even now you're thinking about the village over the well-being of young Naruto here. I can read your thoughts, Sarutobi. Your thoughts betray your intentions for Naruto. Naruto questioned Sarutobi after he frowned. If you do care, then why did you raise the rent on my apartment, making it where I could and would get kicked out if I couldn't afford it? Sarutobi's eyes went wide with surprise. What are you talking about, Naruto? He inquired, obviously perplexed by what Naruto had asked, oblivious to the terrified expressions on the faces of several of the people. I never raised your rent. Lucifer covered his mouth with his palm as he laughed. As Sarutobi heeded, his wife laughed with laughter and he said, clearly incompetent or uncaring. Naruto yelled, that's not true, before he produced the document bearing the Sandame's signature that he had received from his landlady a few days before. This here proves that you don't care about me. He seized it first, before Hiruzen could do something that Lucifer would undoubtedly find unacceptable. He studied the document carefully, then shook his head laughingly. Well, looky here, this does contain your signature, Hiruzen. Apparently, this is some kind of tax raise law on certain products like food and ninja tolls with Naruto's rent attached to it. Hiruzen frowned at the villagers who had him sign the form and exclaimed, I did not know the rent to Naruto's apartment was on that form. Lucifer grinned. Incompetence it is then. I believe you didn't, but you also didn't take the time to read through it. That is something I find insulting at a personal level because you always carefully read through something before you sign it. It also shows that you clearly are an incompetent leader if something can happen within your village without you knowing it and can't be depended on to run the village. Either that or, like I'm proving, that you really don't care for young Naruto here. Hiruzen frowned, roiling with internal rage as Lucifer spoke. He did, however, see this as a means of separating Naruto from Lucifer and Lilith. Lilith rolled her eyes before embracing Naruto in a maternal manner. Naruto, I was duped into signing that document. But don't worry, I'll make it up to you, just come with me. She calmly said, examining her hand's nails, before Naruto does anything, you should first punish those that tried to kill him by executing them. In an attempt to please the king and queen of hell, Hiruzen responded, I can't do that. They shouldn't be killed because of their grief and anger. The most I can do is send them to interrogation where they will be punished. Unfortunately for him, they were able to tell when someone was talking trash to them. As the villagers began to yell that he wasn't innocent, Lucifer blew up the hot springs to silence them. That is bullshit and you know it, Sarutobi. How old are you, Naruto? I'm 8 years old, Lady Lilith. 8 years to get over that grief and anger, she cried. With what you just said, you clearly do not care for Naruto. You've practically said that it's okay to torture an innocent child and the worst that will happen is a slap on the wrist. I thought I made it clear that each outbursts by you pathetic monkeys would result in me destroying something. I happen to get rid of the hot springs that a certain pervert uses for his research. The next thing I blow up will be the Hokage tower, so you better keep those damn villagers of yours silent, otherwise I will destroy everything and everyone inside of it. Lucifer screamed as he looked at Naruto. Naruto, I understand why you think you're a demon, but the absolute truth is that you are indeed human. I've peered into your soul and you're the kindest, most generous human that I have ever seen out of Father's creations. However, I do know why you're treated as a demon along with who your parents are and what happened the night you were born. Naruto's gaze brightened. He was eager to learn the truth that Sarutobi had withheld from him, but it appeared like the elderly monkey attempted to stop him. You do. Can you please tell me? He begged. Lucifer's demonic scream shattered the village windows as he roared, "Stop! That is top secret information. You have no right to divulge. I am the damned king of hell. I am above your petty classification, Sarutobi. You are a fool if you think you can order me." The sound of his wife's voice soothed him. Very well then, I shall tell him about his clan and what happened to the village they originated from. He said quietly. I have a clan. Exclaimed Naruto, astonished and thrilled that he truly belonged to a clan and that they weren't originally from Konoha. Hiruzen attempted to take charge of the situation once more. Stop. That is also classified information. You have no right to divulge any of it. Besides, nothing that has gone down in this village is any of your business. He yelled. Lucifer said, "None of our business," and then began to laugh ominously. Let me tell you something, Hiruzen Sarutobi. I was planning to have an intimate night with my wife, something we hadn't had in quite a while, when all of a sudden me and my wife were summoned by a child who didn't consider himself human. To make matters more frustrating, we were attacked. Now I have always considered the creature's father has created both idiotic and stupid, with my lovely wife being the exception and now this young boy. However, tonight has proved to me how truly evil humanity can be. Like seriously, I'm the king of hell and I thought I was downright evil. Now we were summoned here to grant his wish and we intend to fulfill that wish, but I intend to tell him the truth first. Yet you state that none of it is our business after everything that has happened so far. After saying that, Lucifer was silent, but his rage was evident. Suddenly, he roared again, causing the settlement to tremble, the surrounding walls to collapse, and trees to be uprooted. After yelling, I am making it my business so shut the fuck up or else, he quickly collected himself and turned to face Naruto, who was about to tell him everything. Sarutobi, however, couldn't let it happen because they are such dumb monkeys. He commanded, take them down. No mercy, as a number of his ninja rushed from all directions toward Lucifer and Lilith. When a ninja threw a tanto at him, Lucifer retorted, look who decided to show his true colors. Then, with a swift swipe, Lucifer tore his head off. The villagers screamed in horror as the head rolled in their direction and the body fell to the ground. Lucifer saw a number of ninja around him, but he quickly swung his hands to magically slice them into pieces, leaving the grass scarlet with their blood and turning them into pieces of meat scattered all over the ground. Then a red-eyed ninja swiftly went through hand signals and threw a fireball at him, but Lucifer managed to grab it. As the fireball melted in his hand, he watched it with laughter. As he formed a hellfire ball in his hand and threw it back to the ninja with such speed that the Uchiha, even with his Sharingan, could not react quickly enough to it, burning him alive as he screamed in pain and agony until only a skeleton remained, Lucifer said, laughing, this is quite cute, but it's nothing compared to hellfire. Taking a minute to appreciate his creation, Lucifer saw that Hiruzen was grinning. He chuckled and said, I'm killing your soldiers, and you're grinning like you've won. I have. Hiruzen replied, gesturing to Lilith, who was clutching Naruto, with bodies all over the ground as one had finally arrived behind her and was holding a kunai to her throat. I suggest you surrender now so you can be conditioned as a weapon for Konoha, otherwise she will die," Hiruzen said. Instead of turning around like Sarutobi had expected, Lucifer simply laughed. After the ninja with the kunai to her throat demanded, Lilith grew her horns and impaled the ninja through their eyes, the horns passing through the back of their head before she retracted them back to their normal length as the stupid ninja fell to the ground dead. "Lilith, you've missed one behind you." "Oh, I'm aware, dear, I just figured I'd let the senile old monkey have a chance before it fell apart." "What are you talking about, demon bitch?" Lucifer laughed with pleasure. "You humans are truly stupid if you think you can control me, but you're even dumber for underestimating my wife just because she's a woman." Knowing that this would continue all night, Lilith set up a barrier of vines around herself, Lucifer, and Naruto. She also created an invisible hell barrier that would disintegrate any humans who touched it, should they manage to get past her thorny barrier. Lilith wanted to get home before her lovely daughter returned from private school. She informed her husband, "This has gone on long enough. Being in this village sickens me, so let's hurry up, dear." Her husband laughed uneasily, sensing her frustration and anger. Before he started telling Naruto everything about his clan, the Uzumaki clan, and their village of Uzushigakure, Lucifer said, "Very well." Lucifer made sure to tell Naruto everything, including how the Uzumaki helped create Konoha with the Uchiha and the Senju, how the Shodaime Hokage Hashirama Senju married Mito Uzumaki, and how Hashirama's fight with Madara Uchiha ended with Mito sealing him inside herself after he captured the Kyuubi. Hiruzen was doing everything he could to break through the vine barrier as Naruto discovered everything about his clan. But before a ninja foolishly attempted to attack from the air, his body disintegrating on impact, Hiruzen halted his attack and attempted to inform Naruto that he was being misled. When Lucifer finally reached the end, he informed Naruto that Kushina Uzumaki, Minato Namikaze, and the Yondaime Hokage were his parents. He also explained to him what had transpired that evening and how Hiruzen had tried to shape him into a suitable weapon. Hearing that his parents, more especially, his father, had chosen the village above him made Naruto sad, but he couldn't help but believe him. Since he was their son, he realized that the Kyuubi had no power over his behavior and that all he wanted was to be released from prison after so many years. However, the hamlet's reputation as the strongest village took precedence over freedom, and they were prepared to damage his youth for the sake of the village. Lucifer made the decision to address Naruto's wish once he had taken in all of this information. Naruto looked at him and started to consider it as the villagers cried out for him to not wish for that, promising to change, only for Lucifer to destroy the Hokage Tower and everything in it. "Now that you know the truth, do you still want us to take you to hell? Because you could wish for the destruction of this village instead." Naruto eventually understood what he should hope for. To Lucifer's surprise and amusement, he said, "I still wish for you to take me to hell. You could wish for the end of this village, after everything they've done to you. You're just willing to let them off the hook." Lucifer responded with disbelief. "Because destroying the village won't change what's happened and it'd be too easy. The choices my parents and godparents had made are already done and there's no changing that. The old man made it where I can't have any love or respect. Wishing for the destruction of the village just because of the suffering they put me through won't change anything, and it'd make me no different than that masked man that attacked the village. There are those like the Ichiraku family that haven't harmed or done anything, instead trying to help me. And after everything you've told me, that would just add on to the hate that they have for me. To be honest, besides a few friends that I've made and the Ichiraku, There's just no place for me here and I'm better off in a place that they can't get to me. Plus, if what you say is true and judging how this world works, there could be some Uzumaki down there in hell, right? So just take me to hell. I'd rather be a demon that is loved than a human that is hated. Naruto explained passionately. Lucifer gazed at Naruto incredulously. This small child was so eager to turn into a demon in order to get away from the harsh humanity that had tormented him. Naruto was unique among all the humans he had seen, even Adam and Eve, and if he was being completely honest, he rather enjoyed that. He saw the boy's potential that none of the other people there could see, and to be honest, he would much prefer have that potential to himself in hell than in the real world, or heaven, for that matter. Before Lilith intervened, he said, "Very well, but I will have to make you into a demon first." He turned to face her as she said, "Wait, Naruto, is coming to hell the only thing you want?" Lilith nodded her head and turned to face Lucifer as Naruto responded, "Well, I do want a family, but the old man made it clear that I was never meant to have one." As Lucifer grinned at her, she said, "Lucifer, my love, I think we were both summoned here to grant Naruto this wish instead." "I do believe you're right, my dear. We would be excellent parents to Naruto and I know that Charlie would love him. She's been asking about getting a younger sibling for a while now," responded Lucifer. Lilith gave Naruto a gentle, maternal grin. The 8-year-old grinned, but scowled when he realized what she had said. "Did you hear that, Naruto? You're going to be a part of our family now and you'll get to meet your big sister who will definitely love you." He inquired, "What about the Kyuubi?" Lucifer simply looked shocked when he heard Naruto's worry for the energy creature confined inside him and came up with a solution. "I know he was sealed inside me against his will, but I don't want him to be trapped forever. Well, the moment we get to hell, I will remove him from you, a process that won't end in your death like it would normally go. After all, it would be child's play for me. He is, after all, only a construct of energy and all I would have to do is remove his soul from you and set it free. He will be able to reform himself in hell and be allowed to run free and live in peace as long as he follows the rules I set up for him. He will never have to worry about being sealed ever again. After that all is done, we will turn you into a demon, my son." Lucifer replied with a grin as Naruto wept and nodded before running from Lilith's arms and hugging Lucifer. Lucifer grinned at the youngster and then turned to face Hiruzen, who was looking at the sight with hatred, to which Naruto answered, "Thank you, Dad. I want to thank you for giving us our new son. If it wasn't for your selfish actions, none of this would be possible," said Lucifer to him. Hiruzen screamed, "You can't do this," with a stare that would normally make anyone quail, but Lucifer waved it away as though it didn't matter. "It's already done. I was planning for Naruto to wish for the destruction of your village," Lucifer said, surveying the devastation he had inflicted during his outbursts. Lucifer glanced at the Hokage mountain, grinned, and with a swift snap of his fingers, the mountain bearing the faces of the previous Hokage was destroyed. "Although it looks like I destroyed it when your villages kept screaming and making demands. So it's some irony that your villagers helped destroy your village because they couldn't keep their mouths shut." He then created a portal for the three of them to return to hell, leaving the Sandaime to deal with the devastation of his community. "That's for the suffering of my son." Lucifer and Lilith's house, Morningstar Mansion. Through the vortex Lucifer created in the mansion's lobby, the king, queen, and now prince of hell emerged. Lucifer grinned and said, "Well, this is it, my dear boy, home sweet home. Master is home." Master is home, cried two goat devils that were identical and ran toward them. Oh, master brought a boy. The other said, indeed, brother. New prince. Lilith giggled into Lucifer's palm as he laughed. Footsteps came from the house door, followed by the entrance of a young girl with brilliant red eyes and long, blonde hair with a bow on top. Naruto, meet Razzle and Dazzle. They've been in my service for many years. She paused when she saw them in the doorway with a small boy. Daddy, Mom, I'm home. Please tell me. She said. As she took Naruto in her arms, she said, okay, so you aren't, that's good. But who's this cutie? As Charlie whirled around with Naruto, who was giggling with childlike delight, Lucifer stated, ah, Charlie. This is Naruto. We were summoned by him when he found a grimoire and summoned us to grant his wish. Lilith and Lucifer looked at one another and said, wish? What did he wish for? Well, it's a long story, Charlie. Began her mother, who then went on to tell her about the previous hour and Naruto's life up to that point. Charlie sobbed before giving him a firm embrace. Oh, you poor thing. Don't you worry, Naru, big sister Charlie is here to give you all the love you need. Naruto's cheeks began to flush. Charlie released the hug, saying, gee good B but I can't be breathe big sis, instead. She smiled cutely and giggled, boop sorry Naru. Lucifer laughed. Yes, well, we should move on to the process of making you a demon Naruto before father gets upset that I have a human boy here in hell. Before Lucifer called forth a grimoire that was both identical to and distinct from the one Naruto had discovered, Naruto gave a quiet nod, unsure of what the procedure would involve. After flipping through the pages, Lucifer exclaimed, all right, here it is. Using his black magic, he hurled flames toward Naruto. It didn't burn like the other times Naruto had come into contact with fire. As an alternative, it tickled and felt cozy. Using the dark red energy emanating from Naruto's stomach, Lucifer used his other hand to draw out the Kyuubi's soul until it emerged and took the shape of a red sphere in his grasp. The fire began to flicker between red, purple, blue, black, and green as Naruto felt no discomfort from the flames, only from transforming into his demon form. There's the Kyuubi out. Speaking of which, I'll have to speak to Shinigami later to see if I can reunite the two halves. Now on to the demonic process. His skin turned pasty white to that of the Morningstar family, his horns protruded slightly past his hair, and his spiky blonde hair smoothed down. Charlie squealed joyfully, leaping up and down with delight, and he could now easily pass for her younger brother. As he extinguished the flames, Lucifer remarked, well then, there's that done. As Naruto sobbed while maintaining his blue eyes, he added, welcome to the family, Naruto Morningstar. The four family members then gave each other a family embrace. With a gentle yawn, Naruto awoke in his bed and stretched. He awoke wearily and changed into a black t-shirt and red shorts for the day. Before the realization dawned on him, he blinked the sleep away. His bed, clothes, and chamber. He was exhausted after yesterday's family hug and passed out right away. Lilith took him up to a room to sleep. The natural spikiness of his hair, which had been straightened out during the metamorphosis, had returned, and it fit him perfectly. Excited, he let out a squeal and dashed to his room. Because the estate was so large, he noticed that the hallway was quite long. He murmured gently, unsure of where to go before Lucifer emerged from his room wearing his pajamas. After hearing the shriek, he turned to face Naruto and grinned. "Good morning, my boy, seems you're excited to be up." Naruto quickly nodded his head. Lucifer grinned and Naruto gave him a quick hug. "Well, let me see if Razzle and Dazzle can cook us up some breakfast. Since it's Saturday, Charlie should be home and won't be at school today." "Oh, thank you, Dad, thank you." Seeing a totally different aspect of the youngster he had saved and adopted the day before, Lucifer laughed. He was despondent and, well, dying yesterday. He had missed Charlie's level of energy and vitality when he was Charlie's age, but he had it today. "Now come along, your mother and sister will be waking up shortly. Charlie can give you a tour of the mansion after breakfast." Naruto accepted Lucifer's extended hand and the two of them went downstairs to the dining hall, where Razzle and Dazzle were already working diligently. Naruto drooled a little as he sniffed the air. "It all smells so good, Dad," Lucifer said gleefully. As Naruto pouted cutely, Lucifer mocked him, "They try their hardest to keep everything in perfect condition. I dare say that they might even be better cooks than that Ichiraku family you told me about." When Lilith saw that father and son were already up, she quickly yawned and grinned quietly. Naruto grinned broadly before his hair abruptly spiked back up. "Good morning, Lucifer dear, and good morning to you, little Naruto. I hope you slept well, my adorable prince." Before Lilith approached and gave him a hug, the phrase, "well, that's at least normal. As pretty as your hair is, Mom," felt so alien to him that it made him cry happy tears. Lucifer smiled as Lilith cooed softly, "It's okay. I wouldn't want everything to change about you, my little maelstrom. Those fucking idiots have no idea what they did. When Father created Adam and Eve, I forewarned him of this, but what do I know?" She was holding her phone as Charlie came down, yawning. Lucifer pondered for a moment before scowling at the idea of Leviathan Vaughn Eldritch, but it appeared that she was already messaging her partner. Leviathan simply annoyed him, although he got along well enough with Leviathan and Bethesda. In addition to Charlie and Helsa's disputes, it didn't help that Lilith didn't truly trust Helsa. With a childlike wonder, Naruto gazed at his adopted sister. "Charlie, what is that in your hand?" Charlie narrowed her eyes and then nodded as Lucifer mouthed the words, "Elemental Nations." "Ah, it's my phone, little brother. I'll get you set up with one, or Daddy will." Naruto gave a nod. "See, can I perhaps look at it? I've never seen one before. Charlie dear, make sure it's a good hellphone. I don't want him getting a Vox phone since I still don't trust him. He may have been here for a few years, but I remember when Alastor made his way here. Caused such a panic that me and King Paimon had to step in to deal with him," Lucifer said after having a glass of red wine. Charlie handed her phone to Naruto and nodded her head. Naruto nodded, his eyes widening at the bright screen in his hands, and Charlie added softly, "Just be careful with it, okay, Naru? Just use your fingers to scroll through it." After inadvertently pressing a button on it and accessing Charlie's messages, Naruto scowled quietly. They sat at the table and Charlie looked at it, asking, "Big sis, what did I do?" "Ah, you accidentally opened up one of my apps. You see." As Charlie described the applications to Naruto, along with what apps were in general and how the communication system operated, Lilith grinned. Before noticing that a person named Sevi had access to the message tab, Naruto nodded his head, taking in the information. Before Naruto could read any of it, Charlie's eyes brightened and she grabbed her phone. "Charlie, who's Sevi?" she said. Communications that provide an explanation between her and her boyfriend. Naruto nodded his head and scowled. "Oh, that's my boyfriend Naru. I just don't want you to read those as some of those are very private, okay?" he said. As Charlie went pale, Lucifer arched an eyebrow and said, "Charlie, I got a bad feeling about those messages he was sending you." Naruto clarified, What do you mean?" "Well, I don't know how close you two are in everything, but in the few messages." Charlie gave a nod. "Messages that I read. I felt a darker purpose with them." As he conjured up a book with the details on Jinchuriki and the Biju they had imprisoned, Lucifer's gaze sharpened. Hagoromo Otsutsuki, the sage of chakra and the inventor of the 9 Biju, wrote about something that had vanished from the face of the elemental nations. He saw that the Kyubi could feel negative emotions and purpose when he scrolled to the end of the book. After Lilith suggested that they utilize their own magic to make Naruto their kid, he apparently developed the ability to turn Naruto into a demon. Charlie's pout marred her face as her eyes expanded and she began to read through the texts once more with a more defined purpose. Lilith gave Naruto a gentle embrace. Naruto shook his head and asked, "Can you tell what intentions he had, my darling boy?" "Not without meeting him. I can maybe grasp some small manipulation here and there with them, but that's about it." Lucifer scowled and then composed himself. If he could avoid it, no one was going to control his little child. It appears that he would have to conduct his own research on the Von Eldritch family since he couldn't afford to find out if they were plotting another scheme or, worse, if Leviathan was pulling his old pranks. Now completely awake, Charlie scowled as she combed through her phone's messages, including those she had exchanged with Leviathan. He had initially come across as excited about their relationship, but over the last few weeks, it seemed as though the spark had faded and he was merely following the routine. "I wonder if there's something going on with him at home. When I think about it, Leviathan always seems uncomfortable when I'm over there, and I feel like the three of them are really angry and disgusted with me. I know that his bitch of a sister is just like one of those popular girls. I initially assumed it was only a result of my relationship with Leviathan, but what if there's more to it?" Lucifer looked at the timepiece. He scratched his temples and moaned, "Well, I have to be leaving my dear family. I'll be meeting with the other leaders of the rings for our monthly meeting." He rose from the table and gave Charlie a gentle head kiss while she was still browsing through her phone, saying, "Oh Satan, I can already hear Scorpius's yelling already." He approached Lilith and Naruto, gave the boy a fatherly head rub, and then planted a kiss on his wife's lips. "If everything goes well, I should be home for dinner. If not, well, I'll make it up to you, my lovely Jezebel." Lilith laughed. Lucifer nodded and opened a portal before entering. "I'll hold you to it, dear. I'll start Naruto's homeschooling as I'm sure you don't want the news of you having a son getting out quite yet, especially if Ozzy and Mammon are going to be in town." As the little boy devoured the food as though it were his last, Lilith grinned and then burst out laughing. The two goat butlers bowed their heads enthusiastically before beginning to prepare more food for the princeling. "You can slow down, Naruto. Razzle and dazzle can make more if you're still hungry." Lilith questioned her daughter, who was anxiously browsing through her phone. "What are your plans for today, Charlie?" she yelled, Charlotte, as Charlie nearly dropped her phone and fumbled it in midair before grabbing it. Lilith laughed and shook her head. Why yes mom. What are your plans for today since it's Saturday? Charlie responded reluctantly because she wasn't really sure what to do herself. I am not really sure, was thinking about hanging with Sebi today, but from what Naru said, I'm not really sure. I might just head to the mall or something instead. Lilith ran her hand through Naruto's spiky hair as the boy looked up with a pancake in his mouth, and Charlie began to giggle. I'm going to be going over our world with Naruto, what he should know and how to act. If you want to help me with that, since you've been around sinners more than your father and I, it'd be appreciated dear. Before they each went to their rooms to get ready, Charlie said, yeah, I think I can do that mom. Charlie thought to herself, perspiring a little from the movement, oh thanks Satan that Naruto didn't scroll up further. I really didn't want him to see the skimpy and nude photos that I've sent Leviathan, nor did I really want him to see what kind of shit we send each other. Her father would have lost his mind and started the overly protective father diatribe, even though her mother wouldn't mind at all. Afterwards, wearing shorts and a t-shirt, Naruto was waiting for his sister and mother outside. He wore black shorts that fit him well and an orange t-shirt. When the village refused to allow him buy clothes, he had to make do with garments that were neither ridiculously enormous nor too small. Soon after, Lilith appeared wearing a headband to keep her hair out of her face, chic shoes, and a royal black dress that accentuated her contours. Charlie, wearing a flowery outfit, accompanied her down. Lilith grinned and said, "There he is." She then sat down on the porch swing she had Lucifer install so she could look out over the city. Charlie sat next to them, and Naruto sat on her lap. Lilith whispered, "So let's get started my adorable son. First and foremost, hell is broken into 7 rings, each ring being ruled by a demon or family of immense power. We are situated in the Pride Ring with our family as its rulers, as well as the Ars Goetia family serving as our advisors and the overlords overseeing the day-to-day stuff. I'll explain those in but a minute my dear," Lilith said softly, observing Naruto's perplexed Lucifer, and by extension me, are the king and queen of all of hell, with you and Charlie here being the prince and princess. Lilith went on, and Naruto nodded. The next ring down is Wrath. It's more of a desert ring than anything, with it being more warlike and everything. There's no true ruler as I think he was slain centuries ago, but the current top dog down there is Scorpius. It does supply a surprisingly good amount of food for all the rings, the best animals and the best farms. Charlie gave a nod of agreement. Charlie laughed, and Naruto's eyes glistened a little as he said, "The hell pigs down there are tough bastards, the bacon and ham we had for breakfast came from them." Next is gluttony. As its name suggests, there are a ton of restaurants down there. It has jungles and other tropical landscapes. We don't go down there too much since Lucifer really doesn't trust Beelzebub after his takeover attempt. Beelzebub is the ruler of that ring. Lilith looked at him with a frown. Savage insectoid jerks. The 4th ring, or the middle ring as I call it, is the Greed Ring. It's the home to many clowns and jester demons and is famous for its casinos, carnivals and other rip-off-like businesses. Lilith said with a more serious scowl. It is ruled by the cheapskate, Mammon. Damn Mammon, ripping off Lulu World with Lulu Land. When Naruto heard it, he scowled quietly, as if his mother had a particular grievance. Lilith purred, "The next one." Which caused Charlie to flush and Naruto to laugh in awe. Is lust. The ring really centered around me in a way, but more so in the fact that I'm a singer and their queen down there. It's home to succubi and incubi with many clubs and hotels. The ruler down there is a good friend of mine, Asmodeus, or Ozzy as I call him. Eager to see his mother's acquaintance, Naruto nodded. Charlie was the next to speak, smiling. The next ring is envy. It's more of an oceanic world with all of its seas and everything. The demons that reside there are more aquatic, like sharks, merfolk, sirens and other sea creatures. That one I visit more often than others because it is ruled by Leviathan and his family, the Von Eldritchs. Lilith went on. The last ring is of sloth. It's where most of our technology is produced as well as being the most advanced. Charlie's phone being an example of what is created down there. It's quite a fancy place really, a popular vacation hotspot for us demons to travel to and where many retired demons stay at. It's being ruled by the CEO of Belphitech, Belphegor. Lilith gave him a gentle head rub after he nodded. Now you have to understand another thing, my dear. This is indeed hell, the nightmare and horror stories you've heard about it are. Well, mostly true. Sinners that come here are stuck in the pride ring unless authorized by one of us or one of the 7 sins. Sinners are any who have committed crimes up on earth, from rape to murder, to even war crimes. Those horrible people are forced down here, and even some that have unknowingly committed one of these deeds can be sent down here. She went on. Any one person can have varying amounts of sin, our job is to keep them down here and torture them for their misdeeds. Lucifer and I, well, we really don't give a shit on what they've done up there or what they do down here. As long as they follow our rules and laws, they can do as they please. Before Lilith spoke, Naruto scowled quietly. Naruto, I understand that you were just trying to get by and everything, being the good boy that you were up there, but remember that you wanted to come down here. Some demons are kind and benevolent to their families, like us and Prince Stolas, but most are real assholes that deserve to be down here. So before you start pitying some sinners down here, or trying to change what we've created here, just remember that me and Lucifer are not good people. We are evil incarnate, even if we don't seem like it. Despite not enjoying it since he was too old, Naruto nodded. I understand, Mom. I know it's harsh, but I don't want you to set high expectations of people. Those people who beat you up and tried to kill you in Konoha will eventually end up down here. Naruto's eyes lit up with rage. She grinned and gave him a gentle forehead kiss, saying, when they do, my dear princeling, you can unleash any and all your anger upon them. Charlie grinned and gave his cheek a little touch. And you won't be the only one to do so, little brother. Those monsters, I will gladly torture and demolish whatever hope they have for redemption, for what they did to you. Her locks began to sway with rage. A red-haired woman sneezed in the meantime. With her red hair swinging madly, she yelled, "Who's taking my intimidation tactics, Databane?" Her child shrank in terror of their Ka-chan's fury. Lilith soothed them both with, but now onto the structure and hierarchy of hell. The lowest creatures of hell are imps. They reside mostly in wrath and pride, Imp City more specifically. They do all the lower-tier jobs, but I have seen some rise above that. Fitzurali being one of them. As his mother gave him a tender embrace, Naruto tucked himself into her arms. The next are hellhounds. Both are given bad reps for whatever reason, despite being around before Lucifer and I came into power. Both are your normal working class though, with hellhounds more specifically suited for bodyguard or bouncer duties. The interesting fact with hellhounds is that they're loyal until their demise or until the job ends. So depending on the job, they'll be there for you through thick and thin, kind of like that Inuzuka clan of Konoha. Naruto gave a sympathetic nod. Lilith giggled and pinched Charlie's cheek, making the girl blush and thrash her arms around. The next are my people. I'm known to many as the queen of the succubi, but the only ones I've really birthed is my darling little Charlie here. They are your stereotypical demons that you hear stories about, focused on lust and everything, but a few have pushed past that and become successful megastars like Verosika Mayday. Baphomet demons, goat demons basically, are like hellhounds but aren't seen as such, most believing themselves to be blessed by the demonic god Baphomet. Yes, we demons do have gods too, just in a different manner. Lilith clarified as Naruto sighed. Next are the sinners. To tell you the truth, the sins and the royal families see them as lower than the imps and hellhounds. They're the ones who have committed whatever sinful nature that was in their heart and were sentenced down here as I had stated earlier. Naruto gave a nod. Naruto shuddered a little when he said, "What I didn't tell you, is that they can rise above that situation and grow in power. Nothing too serious, they just fight over territory that we give them here in pride, maybe about, I don't know, 25% at best. Those who have some power and are slightly stronger, either by power or money or whatever means, than the regular sinners and demons are called underlords. Don't ask me why they picked that, I still don't understand." Lilith's eyes furrowed as she said, "Above them however, are the overlords. Those who have gotten more power, more control over the punishments that they feel they deserve. There are a total of 7 right now. Helsa and Saviathan, as they are both staying in pride right now, are 2 of them. Rosie, a delightful dear but a cannibal nonetheless. Alastor, the radio demon, who was once a radio broadcaster in life but came down here because of his cannibalism and his sadistic tendencies towards child abusers. For some reason, Naruto felt uncannily at ease with him. And the worst 3, well, worst 1, but they're all lumped together. The triple versus, Valentino, Vox and Velvet. Vox is the television demon, makes it his life work to control as much technology as he can. Most of the television down here is produced by him, and if it isn't produced by him, it's produced by Belphegor. Velvet. Lilith gently rubbed her head. Charlie shrugged and asked, "Do you know anything about her, Charlie?" "Just that she likes to cook, brew potions, and post stuff on social media, that's about it." Before Lilith controlled her growing rage, Naruto took a delicate gulp. Next are the royal families, like the Ars Goetia. They are families that have been around since me and Lucifer took over. They control what territory we don't see a need for and having taken up advisor positions for the 7 sins. They can be advisors in anything, whether it be political, financial or military. Prince Stolas himself is an astronomical advisor. He translates the stars and planet alignments and advises us in such manners to make the best plans. After that, is the 7 sins, as I have already told you, and then us at the top. Us being Lucifer and myself, with you kiddos being just above the overlords in power, but still being seen as royalty. Lilith laughed. As the names suggest, each of the 7 represents the sins. Your father as pride, Ozzy as lust, Mammon as greed, the Vaughn Eldritch as envy, Scorpius as wrath, Belphegor as sloth, and Beelzebub as gluttony. Naruto nodded as he took in the knowledge that his sister and mother had given him. Lilith grinned. Naruto exclaimed with excitement and gave his mother a tight hug while grinning broadly. With all that being said, how would you like to start your teachings in magic and defending yourself, he said. The day of Naruto's birthday, 6 years later, as Lilith and Charlie observed the continuing training, a voice remarked, from the left. From the right. Parry, duck, jump. Despite maintaining a composed exterior, Naruto was furious on the inside about how easily he was being read. His blue eyes glowed, glowing red as his blows became more powerful and accurate. With a bowl of popcorn, Lucifer emerged into the training room he had commissioned. How long has he lasted this time? Charlie watched with dread as Lilith answered, 2 hours and 15 minutes, dear. I had him switch from the fencing that you took since it seemed that he didn't quite take after it, more being a powerhouse than anything, hence the sword style change. Lucifer murmured as he sipped his wine. Still, how in the world did you get the world's greatest swordsman, Dracul Mihawk, to teach him? Lilith laughed softly. I told him that he was an Uzumaki. Mihawk seems disinterested in Naruto's efforts. Only the man's red skin and claws had altered, and his eyes had turned a spooky yellow while still retaining their hawk-like aspect. Trying to get the best out of him, the unofficial overlord said, I have been training you for 4 years, Naruto, and you have yet to make me draw Yoru. Have you wasted my time? Like Roronoa Zoro, who had surpassed him before his death, the child had courage. Mihawk swatted away Naruto's sword attacks with a dagger while Naruto scowled. The Kyuubi's effect appeared to still be strong in Naruto, as his shape changed significantly, becoming somewhat fox-like. I'll show you yet, Mihawk-sensei, he exclaimed. Mihawk moved slightly out of the way and raised an eyebrow at Naruto's strong slash before it continued to travel from the blade, piercing the air and striking the barrier around the home. Good, you can use long-ranged sword attacks, but only as you start tapping into your demonic powers. You must be able to do that in your normal state, or will you rely on them as a crutch? The fox's features vanished as Naruto's eyes simply burned crimson as his eyes enlarged and he inhaled deeply. Mihawk attempted a dagger stab, but Naruto dodged it and swung out, shattering the weapon and making Mihawk smirk as he jumped back a few paces. Before the full effects of the training took their toll and Naruto began to pant, he fell to his knees as Charlie came over to him. Excellent. You're getting there, slowly, but steadily. Naruto smiled with joy. Over the years, the brother-sister team remained close, supporting and advising one another. Since Leviathan and she had been friends since childhood and would remain so, they had ended their relationship amicably. Leviathan was tormenting her and complaining to Lucifer about it, which caused a headache. Lucifer responded by saying that his daughter may date anybody she wanted. Leviathan was furious about it, of course, but there was nothing he could do about it once Leviathan and Charlie had graduated from Hell School. Vagatha, or Vaggie as Charlie and Naruto had called her, was the second person to rush over and see how he was doing. Like Naruto, she was a sinner demon who had a rather miserable life due to her mother's death during childbirth and her father's abandonment when she was a young girl. Before being abducted by men for settling her father's debts and treated as a slave, she struggled through life and eventually found work as a waitress at a well-known restaurant chain. Raped, tortured, abused, etc. It's understandable why she lost it and killed them all when the time came. She committed suicide because she had nowhere else to go and was so damaged that she ended up in hell. A month before Naruto turned 10, Vaggie and Charlie had begun dating a few months after Charlie's graduation. Before Charlie informed him that she had discovered that she enjoyed both guys and girls, Naruto had initially questioned the relationship. Naturally, Naruto accepted it, not giving a damn as long as his older sister was content. The woman gradually warmed up to Naruto, referring to him as her hermanito. Naruto, of course, had no idea what that meant until she chuckled and stated that he was her little brother. Vaggie was naturally suspicious of Naruto because of her upbringing and what had happened to her. At one point, Naruto even managed to interrupt his parents, who were both giggling about the predicament and Lilith's eagerness to teach him about the birds and bees. Although they are still unsure of Naruto's whereabouts during that year, they are certain he was safe. He continued to periodically interrupt his mother, sister, or Vaggie when they showered in the early mornings, but it didn't make things awkward. He attributed it to his teenage hormones taking over after noticing how attractive his mother was and how attractive Charlie and Vaggie were. Charlie said, "You okay, Naru?" in a kind, naive voice. He stood up slowly and said softly, "Sis, I'm fine, you don't have to baby me all the time." The hawk-eyed man simply looked at them while sipping his tea and asked, "So, how am I doing, Mihawk-sensei?" "You're on your way, you're learning slower than Roronoa, but you have no experience with a sword compared to him. These 4 years have been quite fruitful for you, never half-ass anything, work for it if you wish to be the best." Mihawk complimented Naruto in that exact manner, so he scowled before grinning. He looked at the clock outside and said, "Thank you, sensei." When he recognized the hour, he went pale before he heard a red-headed witch yelling, "9 already? Dad!" He turned to face his father, who was seated there, but he and his mother had left. Well. He looked, then noticed that Vaggie and Charlie had also vanished. Oh shit. Yes, it's time to practice Fuinjutsu with the greatest Fuinjutsu in hell. Uzumaki Mito. You might be wondering why she was in hell at this point. Let's just say that not every Uzumaki was a saint and went to heaven. Prior to the development of the hidden village concept, Mito was a terrifying opponent. After all, in her and Hashirama's relationship, someone had to take the lead. She was known as the red-headed witch because, although she kept her hair red throughout her life, everything else about her was red as well. She subtly adopted the moniker, Red Witch, while keeping all of her Fuinjutsu skills, which significantly aided Lucifer in defending his kingdom against potential intruders. Indeed, even the radio demon had a legitimate and healthy fear of the woman because of her abilities, which put an end to Alastor's reign of terror. Mito smiled as he stepped up the gate, teleported past the walls of the mansion, and appeared in front of Naruto. He cried out in fear as the Red Witch pulled him away, saying, "Hello little Naru, are you ready for Fuinjutsu training?" Charlie winced at the scene, with the 4 other family members observing from within the mansion. Vaggie was grinning contentedly, Lilith and Lucifer were laughing. "That's what he gets for walking in on me this morning." Charlie worriedly questioned, "He's going to be alright, right? She won't hurt him too much with it being his birthday and all?" Lucifer touched the shoulder of his daughter. The 3 nodded as they, Razzle, and Dazzle began decorating the mansion. "Of course he will, this was our plan of getting him out of the house so we can decorate. Now let's go, we don't have long because Naruto absorbs that ceiling shit like a sponge." Mito sighed in response to Naruto's response. Not even Kushina reacted as badly as you do Naru, and she was a hothead who had no patience. Naruto looked up. They got to her residence before she booted a fox demon in the nose, prompting it to yell and rub its nose. Wait, you knew my biological mother? Yes, I did teach her what I could, and she was the host of Kurama after me, but before you. Speaking of. He was shouted at by Mito, wake up you lazy bastard. Kurama rubbed his muzzle as the powerful Kyuubi rebuilt with Lucifer's help. Damn it Mito. I went 70 years inside you, then 27 in Kushina, and 8 with that little brat. I deserve my right to sleep wherever I want along with my freedom, he exclaimed. After all, he only wanted his own independence, so it wasn't too much difficulty. She abruptly tisked, and his form changed into a feminine one. The fox complained that hell operated in unknown ways, causing the fox constructive chakra to constantly change genders. Mito-chan, why did you have to kick me in the snout? You know it's my most sensitive part besides my ears and tail. He wouldn't lie and admit that Helsa was a pretty woman, but her entire demeanor simply turned him off. Cruel, pampered, and conceited, she felt that she should have what she wanted, regardless of the price or the relationships she damaged in the process. He was a strong believer in working hard, not taking quick corners, and earning what you have. Two total opposites in every way imaginable. Mito allowed him to return home after he had practiced demonic runic magic and Fuinjutsu for an hour or two. Lucifer phoned her to inform her that the celebration for Naruto's 16th birthday was about to begin, which is why it was only temporary. He returned swiftly to the mansion, where all the lights had been extinguished. Before the lights came on, Lucifer clasped his hands and said, "Mom, Dad? Charlie, Baggy? Razzle and Dazzle? Where is everyone?" "Surprise!" exclaimed the Morningstar's 6 members and a few others, including Asmodeus and Prince Stolas and his daughter Octavia. "Happy birthday Naruto!" was written on a banner that descended from the steps, and Naruto was wearing a shocked expression. "Gee guys!" He began to cry, but Leviathan came through the doorway. He glanced around before grinning and saying, "Sorry I'm late," was picking up something for Naruto. Charlie ran over to embrace Naruto and buried her face in his chest, saying, "Guess I'm not too late huh? Happy birthday little brother." Lucifer smiled affectionately and said, "Indeed son. Mihawk and Mito have both spoke highly of your progress, as well as me observing how you've acted and reacted to changing circumstances here in hell. I can safely say that I am very proud of you Naruto, my son." Lilith grinned maternally as Naruto started crying. "Naruto, you have grown into such a wonderful young man. From the little boy that sought a ways to escape his tormentors and summoning myself and Lucifer, to being our little princeling, to becoming a young man that anyone would be proud of to have as a son." After letting out a little hiccup, Naruto embraced his family tightly. Thank you all." The principal swept her arm out to the students, saying, "I present to you, your graduating class of 2015 of Lucifer's Academy of Hell." And now to present his speech, the class valedictorian, Hell's Prince, Naruto Morningstar. Naruto approached, dressed in an orange graduation robe, 6 feet 2 inches, and with pale blonde hair in spikes. The audience stared at him as though he was serious when he said, "Now I'm not usually one for speeches, more of an action kind of person, but I will take a moment here to mourn our classmates that fell during the purge." Then Naruto chuckled. As if Most of those dumbasses that died tried to pick on me, control the way I talked and acted, and if there's one thing I've shown during my years here at Lucifer's Academy of Hell is that you can't control the maelstrom. Before Naruto put his arm around her and fled the stage, he approached a flushed bird girl who was trying to hide from the spotlight under her graduation cap. Now if anyone needs me, which you won't, I'll be with my girlfriend back at her father's place, he said. With Octavia clinging to him, he mounted his motorcycle and rode off. The audience gave a loud cheer after blinking. As he watched with Charlie and Vaggie, Lucifer laughed quietly, and Charlie sighed. Your brother still has a way with theatrics, it seems. And it also appears that he's confirmed his relationship with Octavia Goetia. How fascinating. Hope he knows protection spells. I don't want to be a grandfather yet. Vaggie steamed, and Charlie turned red. Charlie screamed, I am not ready to be an aunt yet. Naruto wait, and she got into the limousine to follow him. Lilith laughed merrily and Vaggie followed her. So, when do you think Charlie's going to admit her feelings for her little brother? I know they're not biological siblings, but it'd still be such a fascinating thing to see. Lucifer grinned. Probably about the time that they realized that nobody down here cares about monogamy and that myself and Asmodeus encourage polygamy. Of course I wouldn't dare partake in such a thing since no one is as beautiful as you, my hellflower. Lilith grinned and laughed. Lucifer smiled sweetly as he and Lilith returned to the mansion, saying, well, I think after that compliment, you've earned a night of passionate fucking, my dear Lucy. Especially since I'm sure the kids will be gone for the evening. In the meanwhile, Octavia and Naruto, as they drove down the highways, she screamed, did you really have to announce that we were dating during graduation? I thought it'd be a good time. Everyone's been wondering about who I would start dating. Everyone thought I would be dating Helsa because she was homecoming queen and I was homecoming king, so I wanted to squash those rumors. He responded. As he drove them back to the Goetia house, Octavia groaned gently but clung to him. You do know my mother's probably going to bitch and moan about it, thinking you don't deserve me? Fuck her. I'm the prince of hell. If she can't see that I treat you good then she's a blind old bat. Octavia said. Standing at the Goetia mansion's entrance with her arms folded and a frown on her face was a tall, pristine white avian monster. A darker, just as tall avian demon said, where is that girl? Graduation should be over and done with already. As he approached her, Stella crossed her arms and said, I'm sure Naruto will have her home soon. They probably just finished up. Stolas arched an eyebrow and said, I don't like that they're dating Stolas. Why in the world would you not like that they're dating? He's the prince of hell, Stella, there's literally no one higher class than him. Is this because he accidentally walked in on you showering, or that you walked in on them with Octavia giving him a blowjob? She screamed fiercely, both of them Stolas, since she did not want to be reminded of either episode. Naruto pulled up with Octavia clinging to him before any of them could utter another thing. Stella sighed and Naruto got off the motorcycle with Octavia in tow, saying, sorry about taking a while, traffic was a nightmare. Octavia had a slight scowl on her face, but Naruto gave her a gentle grin. After giving her father a sign of approval, Octavia turned back to Naruto and said, I know it wasn't what you expected and everything, Tavia, but I'll make it up to you. Naruto grinned and kissed Octavia's lips, saying, to make up for this embarrassing night, I want to go see a new taxidermy place that's opening up downtown. It's a date, Octavia. Naruto let out a moan. She's still complaining about that? I can't help it, we even put a note that said do not disturb on her door. Stolas chuckled quietly. Oh, I'm sure, my dear boy. Anyhow, how's the powers coming through? Kinda confusing. Haven't quite understood how they work or anything. Stolas gave a wise nod. Naruto squeezed the bridge of his nose and sighed, saying, it'll come in time. Now it's best for you to be off before your overprotective big sister comes crashing through here. Right, I'll see you later, Stolas. After donning his helmet, he returned to the estate via car. Charlie arrived a minute later. Where's Naruto? Stolas exclaimed softly. Vaggie grumbled and followed Naruto in his car. He just left Princess Charlotte. Vaggie, step on the gas. He went back to the mansion. In the meanwhile, Naruto, he sang, I'm on the highway to hell. While riding his motorcycle around the city and enjoying Pentagram City's nightlife before heading to Imp City, which is nearby. Before stopping at the closest street corner, he heard his phone ring. Sup, Dad? Your sister is in a panic, my boy. You alright? Yeah, Dad, I'm just taking in the sights and traveling around a bit tonight. I won't be out for much longer, and if I do have to be, I'll let you guys know. I'm actually over at Imp City right now since it's close to the Goetia place. With an exclamation of, hey, coming from the opposite side, Lucifer said, I know, son, but you know how Charlie is. Naruto laughed and added, sis, I'll be fine. I know I had a rough start, but you can't keep babying me, Charlie. Charlie blushed visibly as Naruto burst out laughing once more. I know. But I can still worry about you. You worry about me too much and you're going to make Vaggie jealous. Naruto heard a disturbance and rushed to start his motorcycle. With a quiet sigh, he dismounted his motorcycle and headed to investigate the problem, praying it wouldn't be swiped. As he descended an alleyway, he saw a succubus and an imp bickering, the imp's pants dangling down around his ankles. The imp sulked. Before Naruto coughed, he started to do something, saying, why you bitch? The succubus said, am I interrupting something? Initially. Asshat here runs a hotel that I was staying at and was overcharging me. I didn't have the money to pay him, even though it seems like he likes to only overcharge succubi and incubi. Hang on a minute, you're Naruto Morningstar, the Prince of Hell. After going quite pale, the imp attempted to pull his pants back up. The deed itself was somewhat unexpected given Naruto's relationship with his sister. Sir. Naruto didn't even bother to spare the imp a glance before drawing a gun he carried with him and firing the imp in the head, blowing the imp's head apart. Verosika took a swig of her favorite Beelzejus and hummed quietly. She groaned as Naruto looked at her and said, my dream? PSH, I gave up on that long ago. Naruto hummed gently, I wanted to be a singer, an artist, a performer, whatever you want to call it. A pop star, eh? I think I can help with that, Mom's got some contacts in the music industry still, and you seem to be a fine nice woman, just given a bad hand, that's all. Naruto gave a gentle smile. Verosika gave him a hug and then kissed his cheek, saying, I'll let you stay at the hotel for a week while I talk to Mom about those arrangements, Miss Mayday. She purred as Naruto patted her back and chuckled quietly, thank you so much, my prince. Naruto was formally made an overlord years later. According to his masters, his fuinjutsu and sword skills were legendary. Although he was still not as skilled as Mihawk Sensei, he was beginning to force the renowned swordsman to employ Yoru. His demonic abilities continued to waver, as though they were uncertain. Regarding his family ties, he remained close to them and had no intention of ever severing them. He would always find time for his family, no matter what. He was currently speaking with Valentino on the phone. While browsing through reconstruction projects on the phone, Naruto rambled, "To what do I owe the displeasure, Valentino?" Charlie had somewhat influenced him, leading him to investigate ways to improve the lives of numerous sinners and devils during Pride. He was only trying to make it so that sinners could at least make something of themselves down here in hell, not going as far as she was in trying to save them. "My big sister's dream," he thought jokingly. Before the Moth Overlord heard the prince growl, Valentino began, "This is about that little starlet of yours, Veronica. Watch your step, Valentino, you know how I react when you insult something that I've put work into. Alright. I still find that the fact that you let such a beautiful and lustful individual just do what she wants instead of forcing her into her nature of being a succubus slut." Naruto exhaled. "Valentino. Veronica Mayday is going to keep working under contract for me. I am not going to hand her over to you, no matter what you offer me. Because of her performances, she has brought in a ton of souls and my father has been especially pleased. My mother says that she's one of the finest pop stars that she's ever seen, and from what Veronica herself has told me, the human world loves her and worships her, practically making the number 2 pop star in the living world." Then, after removing the phone, Naruto complained. He returned the phone to his ear and said, "I wish I could get rid of that Taylor Swift bitch somehow. I will not be doing anything with her unless she is involved in the process, you know how I work. Now if that's all, Valentino." The monster moth swallowed. Actually, I was kind of hoping that we can come to an agreement of hotel arrangements, as my club doesn't really provide enough rooms that I need to keep my business going." Naruto laughed. He heard a desk slam, and he said, "Then use your other clubs. That isn't enough. Because of you short-handing us 3, taking over the territory that your family owns and then some, we're barely making it by." Naruto squinted his eyes. "Need I remind you that the Morningstar family owns all of hell? The fact that you think that you can command the prince of said family to give you more infuriates me more than you think so, sinner." Valentino was gulping uncomfortably. "You forget your place, Valentino. But I am a generous individual, so I'll let it slide. I will focus some of my reconstruction on the hotels nearest your clubs." Vox and Velvet looked anxiously at the third of their overlord trio, while Valentino grinned behind the phone. Then Naruto spoke. "They will still be under MY ownership, with MY regulations. If you try to worm your way around that fact or work your backhanded deals or loopholes to breach this agreement, just remember why my father has entrusted to me the day-to-day dealings of Pride while he focuses on all of hell and working with the other 6 sins of hell." Then, with a quiet groan, Naruto hung up. He took out a file from his desk drawer and said, "Really, Mother was right about him. I just wish I had the go-ahead to off him already, but Vox and Velvet can't really control the crowd that Valentino has." Henroin, father of Angel Dust, Arachnis and Molly. He's an underlord, kind of old-timey with the mafia kind of things, but he still has a code of honor. He does remind me a bit of Michael Corleone from that Godfather movie series I binged, but he also reminds me of the ruthlessness that isn't necessary. His chin was cradled in contemplation. If it wasn't for the fact that he was the reason all 3 of his children were down here in hell, I'd be all for moving him up the ladder and be a possible candidate to take over Valentino's spot. A corpse shot through the ceiling of the building he was in and crashed in Naruto's office, causing a crash. Naruto's eyebrow went up. As he prepared his welcome speech, he sighed and said, "And my day just keeps getting better." Then he looked and discovered that the alleged new demon was, in fact, human and still alive. Before realizing it was a lady, Naruto said, "Okay, that's new." Having black hair, not wearing makeup, and dressing like explorers from the 17th and 18th centuries. Wait, how in the... Naruto scowled thoughtfully before removing the woman's hair and used his abilities to read her memories. An island. Despite the fact that their mission was an accident, she was a part of the first to explore it, therefore it was largely unexplored by humans. It appears that they were attempting to reach America. In a different universe, though. He looked through her recollections and thought, "Damn it, Dad, your damn multiverse shit is coming to bite me in the ass this time." The streams of wisdom are similar to the fountain of youth that father set up as a practical joke in the Florida/Caribbean region, and she believes she is still there. Something must have tried to kill her, or the knowledge must have burned her brain, for she blacked out. As his powers began to materialize, he recalled what his father had said. "Now Naruto. There's 2 different evils of the world that exist. Well, one but several different pathways of it. The first one is destruction, leaving nothing in your wake, but eventually growing weaker and weaker. The second, and the much more suitable one for me and most demons, hence why Satanists exist and all, domination." Before he saw a flash of crimson, he remarked aloud, Isabella. A beautiful name. A red glow had begun to light up his hand. Naruto began to laugh ominously and gloomily. "Eternum, a world where they have magic and a plethora of weapons to use. Gods even. I guess it's time that I start my path, through domination." Then Naruto whispered in the ear of the unconscious woman. His hand glowed bright red, corrupting energies filled the woman's body as black and red energy surged through her. "My dear Isabella, I grant you a fraction of my power. Find followers that you trust to aid you. Convert those to join your cause and make Eternum my stronghold, all for your new god, the Maelstrom." As Naruto transported the woman back to her starting point, her amber-colored eyes glowed a sinister and malevolent crimson before snapping shut once more. Then Naruto gave a gloomy laugh. In a moment, Naruto's eyes widened as he transformed into his demonic fox form as the building he was in was blown up. Oh, that was fun. No wonder father liked corrupting and tempting mortals in his prime. Meanwhile, concurrently with Vaggy's assistance, Charlie prepared her motel while humming quietly. Convincing Lucifer to give her one of his empty casinos and transforming it into a hotel took a lot of effort on the part of the 2 women. The first person to stay at the hotel during Charlie's redemption attempt, Angel Dust, was watching TV while leaning back on the shoddy couch in the main lobby. He was rapidly flipping through the television, searching for something to watch, and finally landed on the news. With a tinge of melancholy, Katie Killjoy said, "Breaking news." Her tone caused Angel to raise an eyebrow before he let out a loud gasp. The Princess of Hell rushed over and exclaimed, "Yo, Charlie. You might want to see this," before she covered her mouth in shock. Maelstrom Incorporated, the headquarters of Hell's beloved prince, Naruto Morningstar, has suddenly blown up. In the home of Goetia, when Octavia heard the news, her glass broke in her palm, and she watched the newscast with wide eyes. Both Stola's and Stella's eyes widened with surprise. No information is being released, as helicopter footage shows a larger-than-normal fireball has struck Maelstrom Incorporated. At this time, we are unaware of any survivors. Our feed will stay live as we continue to bring updates. Naruto. Octavia cried loudly as she heard the news. As Stella went over to console her daughter and take her into her breast to cry, Stolas used a handkerchief to wipe his eyes. Angel was stunned. Vaggie gripped Charlie closely while she sobbed, tears streaming from her one eye. Shit. Lilith was about to flee the mansion when Lucifer intervened. He screamed, "Lilith, Lilith," and threw her to the ground. "I don't care who it was, I'll fucking kill them for killing my baby. Listen to me, Lilith. He's still alive." Lucifer screamed. "There's no way he can die from something as small as that. He's fought all the overlords and won, hence why I made him the strongest overlord." Wait, there's rubble moving. Cameraman, zoom in on it. The view depicted movement beneath the rumble, prior to the debris vaporizing. All of the personnel in the building were protected by Naruto's protective shield as he rose in his fox form. Kate Killjoy exclaimed, "He's alive. Prince Naruto is alive," as Naruto revealed the shield. "Get to somewhere safe quick. Alright motherfuckers, who has the balls?" While Naruto gazed around with a deadly stare and transformed into his full Kurama fox form, Charlie and Octavia startled and slowly regained their bearings. A full battalion of demons suddenly sprung from their hiding places and threw various weapons at him. "Get the Kyuubi. We have to hold him back until the Sandame and Yandame get here." After displaying a bewildered expression, Naruto thrashed them away with his tails. "Are they stuck in a rut since Kurama's attack night?" Before a monkey demon fell, Naruto flicked them away, saying, "It's a punishment." The voice said, "Naruto," and Naruto halted after hearing it. Naruto looked at the monkey demon and then his eyes recognized it. "Change out of that form." "You don't need it," he said. Naruto snarled, "What do you think you'll see if I do?" Hiruzen said fiercely, "The face of a boy I considered a grandson." After a few minutes of standing there, Naruto shrank and assumed his typical shape. As Naruto scowled and transformed into the form he would have had as a human, Sarutobi whispered quietly, "No, not that one. The one you would have had if you weren't told those lies by Lucifer. Prominent, spiky blonde hair with whisker markings." Naruto's appearance in Shippuden, demons continued to observe from a distance, such as Asuma, Hiruzen's son, who refrained from attacking. "The boy you consider a grandson is gone. He was naive, foolish, too hopeful for a village that enjoyed beating and attempting to kill children." Naruto grumbled. "So I destroyed him." Hiruzen approached him. "That boy I see is alive." Naruto shook his head, saying, "That's what Lucifer wants you to believe, but it's not true." "No. Lucifer is wise, he's taught me everything I know." Hiruzen approached. Hiruzen halted in front of Naruto, a few inches away, as the young, blonde prince appeared to be torn. "Lucifer is using you for your power. He knows about the power of the Kyuubi. When he gets what he wants he'll crush you. You know it's true." Naruto reflected on his background, his village life, his life with the Morningstar family, and what would have been if his parents had not been assassinated by the Kyuubi through that masked man and the attempts on his life had not occurred. Naruto's orange eyes turned into his vivid blue ones. Softly, he murmured, "It's too late." Hiruzen informed him, "No, it's not." When Naruto found out that his birth mother was still alive, his eyes opened. "Leave here with me, come home. We miss you, Kushina is alive, she thought you died to the Kyuubi." Lilith constantly looked after him and made sure he had all he needed, making her an excellent mother. He came to the realization that he couldn't hold Kushina responsible for his abandonment after learning that his mother believed he was dead. Naruto's mouth trembled. "I'm being torn apart, old man." Naruto's teeth clattered, and Hiruzen's expression was bewildered. Hiruzen put his hands on Naruto's shoulders and said, "I want to be free of this pain, of the scars of the village burning in their attempts to kill me. I can get Tsunade to heal you, Naruto, make those scars disappear, she would make everything better and hurt less." Shaking, Naruto glanced at the ground before turning to face Hiruzen. His voice faltered with emotion as he continued, "I know what I have to do, but I don't know if I have the strength to do it. Will you help me, Gigi?" Hiruzen asked with a kind smile, assuming he was approaching Naruto. Before turning to face Hiruzen, Naruto said, "Yes." "Anything, Naruto?" Charlie watched the television with concern. "Don't believe him, little brother, he's lying to you. He's sprinkling truth in with his lies to make it seem like he means well." Vaggie was perplexed. Charlie lowered her hands and asked, "Who is he, Han?" "He's the village leader that Naruto came from, he was the one responsible for everything horrid that happened to him. Holding the sword Lucifer had given him on his 18th birthday, Naruto withdrew it." Hiruzen glanced down at it while he held it sideways, then turned back to Naruto. As memories replayed in his mind, Naruto handed it to him. A youthful Naruto said excitedly, "Gigi. I'm going to work hard and become Hokage. Keep that hat warm for me." While Hiruzen laughed. "Don't worry, Naruto, my boy, I will. I'll make sure that you learn everything you need to be a great ninja and an even greater Hokage." Hiruzen nodded his head and snatched up the blade sternly. As the moon began to rise, the sun began to set over Pentagram City, casting a dull crimson hue over the city. Hiruzen said, "Take them down. No mercy." Naruto recognized something, and Hiruzen clutched the blade. He was being tortured, hungry, and forced to fend for himself, yet Hiruzen never gave a damn about it. All he wanted was his firearm returned. Furthermore, how was he going to return to Konoha in the first place while they were in hell? He thrust forward, piercing Hiruzen's chest with the sword tip directed at Hiruzen. Asuma screamed, "No!" as Naruto pressed the blade further into Hiruzen's chest, causing the Sandame's eyes to widen in shock. Unbeknownst to everyone, Naruto fractured the blade during the final extermination and reforged the sword with the angelic metal that was lying close to his firm building. This made the sword much more potent against angels and demons that dared to harm him. Naruto grinned as his eyes changed back from blue to orange. As Hiruzen was stunned and his second life was waning, he withdrew the blade and said, "Thank you. Thank you for allowing me to take this small measure of revenge." As Naruto's feet began to crumble to dust, he put his hand against his cheek and stroked it. "I apologize, Minato. I made every effort to get in touch with him, but ultimately it was insufficient. Your son was perverted by the devil's victory. As the monkey demon began to crumble, Naruto shoved Hiruzen aside. In remembrance of the guy who brought him to his present family, the Morningstar family, Naruto closed his eyes. Still alive, Jiraiya sat back in a chair after feeling his heart tighten as he dealt with his surveillance network. Why does it feel like I lost a piece of myself? Not even the destruction of the community had the same impact as when Orochimaru killed Sensei. Asuma let out a cry of pain. Kill him. For father, for the Sand Dame. Insert Emperor's theme. It would be a good idea to continue the Star Wars illusions. The surviving ninja demons were about to launch whatever attack they could when they were all struck by a blast of intense demonic intent, which caused them to freeze. With his hands barely moving and his whiskers thinning as his complexion returned to the Morningstar pale, Naruto gazed up at them. To think you fools would dare to strike me here, in my own territory. My employees were safe due to my quick thinking. You were sent down here to pay for your crimes and pay you will. All of the devils that had once been Konoha's ninja were brought down to him, and he tightened his fists. You thought yourselves to be stronger than my father, that he wouldn't have taught me how to defend myself. Arrogant fools. But I am not without mercy. Those who stand down and join my forces will have the privilege of all who work under me. They will not starve, they will not be hunted down like animals, and they will prosper. Naruto relaxed his hold on them, allowing them to make choices but preventing them from taking any action that would result in his death. Some did join him, including members of the Yamanaka clan, the Akimichi clan, and the Nara clan. A succubus girl with pale eyes and indigo hair caught his attention. To his surprise, she nodded. Hinata. How? Stop the music. Hinata gave a little, apologetic grin. The elders were planning something horrific for my sister after I was branded with the caged bird seal. I killed them all with poison and killed my father, while he killed me with the caged bird. She gave a little sniffle. I trained for years after your death, throwing myself into it after the caged bird was planted on me while Hanabi was made heiress. Naruto, Konoha is entirely gone. Destroyed by Orochimaru and your brother's explosion. Naruto squinted his eyes. Brother, a blonde succubus girl who obviously adored purple approached him. Yes. Your twin brother Naruto-kun. He had some leftover chakra of the Kyuubi sealed inside him and it tore him apart, turning him into a time bomb. Before the succubus gave him a contrite look, he arched an eyebrow. Naruto bowed and said, Ino Yamenka. Thought I recognized you. So Konoha is destroyed. Interesting. A raven demon looked at him and scoffed. Naruto's eyebrows tightened as he said, Dobe thinks he has something. Oh yes, Sasuke Uchiha. As if I could forget a detestable creature such as you. He glanced around. As the sun watched in disbelief, two ladies who looked like hellhounds and one with a wilder mane joined him. Anyone else willing to serve? He asked. Ka-chan, Hana and I, what are you two doing? Three more appeared and bowed before him, a purple-haired hellhound, a snake demon, and a raven-haired succubus with captivating crimson eyes. Making amends to Kushina/Kushina Sensei. Sensei's son, please forgive us for not helping you more. Naruto gave a little smirk. Looking at the remnants, which still included a sizable section of Konoha's hellbound populace, he said, obviously I will, if you truly are remorseful. Resume melody, You lot have caused trouble for me when I was mortal and have been causing issues for my family and others here in hell. He began to laugh ominously. To reject a generous gift. I see that there are many here, but not all that are responsible, such as Danzo Shimura. You will be interrogated, tortured. You will give me the names of your friends, and your allies. And then, only when I find it to my satisfaction or boredom, will you die. When Sasuke's fingers froze on the second-to-last hand sign, he simply stared defiantly before getting up and performing his fireball jutsu hand signs. Last chance Uchiha, join or die. As if I would ever serve a dobe like you. I'm stronger than you. You and these women should serve under me. Hell, I might just kill you and make that bitch of a sister of yours mine too. Anger glowed in Vaggy's eye. Charlie restrained her, saying, I'll fucking kill him. Hijo de la puta. The icy Charlie said, just watch. Watch, at what Naruto has become. Naruto laughed, then let out a full-fledged cackle before becoming solemn. He blasted red lightning from his fingertips, electrocuting Sasuke and making the Uchiha scream and spasm in agony. So be it, Uchiha. If you will not join me, you will be destroyed. He was attacked by a pink-haired banshee, but Naruto used his other hand to shoot her with lightning as well, bringing her to her knees while she wailed in agony. As annoying as your voice is, Sakura, he said, spit out her name while giving her a fierce look. He redoubled his efforts, electrocuting the two while the crimson lightning surged even more powerfully. The screams of pain, of your torture, are music to my ears. They would have been comrades and teammates in many other timelines. But in this one, two gnats to the Prince of Hell's power. He eventually relaxed as Sakura was hardly moving at all. With his Sharingan burning, Sasuke was gritting his teeth and panting fiercely as he looked at Naruto. Naruto laughed and then threw all of his demonic strength into the lightning that blasted out of his fingertips, causing the raven-haired demon to scream in agony as his limbs snapped and twisted. Now, young Uchiha. You will die. The Prince of Hell had electrocuted the Uchiha, leaving them mangled, shattered, and hanging at all angles. Nobody would come to his aid and save him. The Morningstar domain was hell, and Naruto's strike only made him more irate. The Uchiha was reduced to a burned corpse when Naruto finally let go of the lightning. He reconstructed Maelstrom Incorporated's headquarters with a wave of his hand, saying, let this be a lesson to all of you. You mess with me, my people, or my family, you better pray to God that he saves you before I come for you. What he saw disturbed Angel a little. Charlie glanced at Vaggy, who had calmed down, and the two women nodded to one another. Jesus Christ, remind me to never piss your brother off. Octavia let out a coo as she was mesmerized by Naruto's overwhelming dominance and destructive ability.